Welcome, dear friend. I'm so happy you're here. Tonight, we're leaving behind busy streets, bright screens, and the endless rhythm of everyday life. Instead, we're going somewhere much quieter. A place where tall pine trees reach toward the sky, where a gentle lake reflects the evening light, and where a warm campfire waits to welcome us beneath thousands of stars. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to finish, nothing waiting for your attention. Only this peaceful journey. So before we begin, allow yourself to become completely comfortable. Feel your body supported beneath you. Perhaps you're wrapped in a soft blanket. Perhaps your room is already quiet and dim. Whatever surrounds you, allow it to fade gently into the background. Take one slow breath in, through your nose, filling your lungs without effort. Hold it for only a moment, and slowly breathe out. Again, a comfortable breath in, and an even slower breath out. Very good. Allow your shoulders to soften. Let your forehead become smooth. Relax the tiny muscles around your eyes. Your jaw unclenches. Your hands become wonderfully still. Your legs feel pleasantly heavy. With every slow breath, your body begins to understand that tonight is for rest. Now, imagine yourself standing at the edge of an old forest. The afternoon sun hangs low above the trees. Its warm golden light filters gently through tall pines, painting long shadows across the forest floor. The air smells wonderfully fresh. Pine needles, earth warmed by the afternoon sun, wildflowers growing beside the trail. Somewhere nearby, a tiny stream quietly flows over smooth stones. Birds sing softly from the branches above. The forest feels alive, but peaceful. Nothing rushes here. Even time itself seems to move more slowly. A narrow path stretches ahead. Soft pine needles cushion every step. The ground feels springy beneath your feet. You begin walking. Slowly. Comfortably. The trees sway gently in the afternoon breeze. Sunlight dances between their branches. Tiny butterflies drift lazily across patches of wildflowers. A squirrel pauses beside an old oak tree, curious for only a moment, before continuing its own peaceful afternoon. You smile. Everything here belongs exactly where it is. Nothing seems out of place. The path gently curves around a cluster of ancient pine trees. Their trunks are thick, their bark rough beneath your fingertips. Some have stood here for more than 100 years, quietly watching each season arrive, then gently pass. The farther you walk, the quieter the world becomes. The only sounds now are birdsong, the whisper of leaves, and your own calm breathing. After a little while, the trees begin to open. Ahead, the forest reveals something beautiful. A peaceful lake. Its water is perfectly still. The surface reflects the blue sky so clearly that it almost looks like another world beneath your feet. Only the occasional ripple reminds you that it is real. Tall mountains rest far beyond the opposite shore. Their gentle outlines fade softly into the distance. The entire scene feels wonderfully calm. This, you decide, is the perfect place to spend the night. Near the edge of the lake, a small clearing rests beneath several towering pine trees. The ground is soft with moss. Wildflowers bloom here and there, adding tiny splashes of color. Flat stones circle an old fire pit, carefully built by previous campers. A sturdy wooden picnic table stands nearby. Someone has lovingly sanded its surface smooth. Beside it, a simple wooden bench faces the lake. You set down your backpack. The quiet feels comforting. Above, the sky remains clear. Only a few fluffy clouds drift lazily across the afternoon. You breathe deeply. The forest air feels cool, clean, and wonderfully refreshing. Now comes one of the most satisfying parts of camping: creating a little home beneath the trees. You carefully remove a large canvas tent from your pack. Its fabric is thick, soft, and the color of warm cream. You spread it gently across the moss. The poles click softly into place. Each movement is unhurried. There is something deeply satisfying about watching the tent slowly take shape. First one corner, then another, until finally, it stands comfortably beneath the pine trees. Simple, strong, inviting. You step inside. The canvas filters the sunlight into a warm golden glow. The floor feels soft beneath your feet. There is plenty of room. You unroll a thick sleeping mat. Place a fluffy sleeping bag on top. Then add an oversized pillow wrapped in crisp cotton. Next comes your favorite knitted blanket. Warm, heavy, wonderfully soft. Soon, the little tent begins to feel less like camping and more like a tiny woodland cottage. Outside, you hang 2 warm lanterns from nearby branches. Although the sun is still shining, you already imagine how beautiful they'll look after sunset. On the picnic table, you arrange everything neatly. A small kettle, a cast iron pot, wooden bowls, a loaf of fresh bread wrapped in linen, butter, a jar of honey, fresh herbs, vegetables for soup, marshmallows tucked safely inside a paper bag, a small tin filled with rich hot chocolate. Everything needed for a wonderfully cozy evening. Nearby, you gather smooth pieces of dry firewood. Each log smells faintly of cedar. Soon, a neat little stack rests beside the fire pit, ready for later. For now, there is no need to hurry. The afternoon is still young. You wander slowly toward the lake. Dragonflies skim gently across the water. Tiny fish create little circles upon the surface. A pair of ducks glide peacefully along the far shore. Every movement feels graceful. The forest breathes quietly around you. The breeze carries the comforting scent of pine resin, mixed with wild lavender growing beside the path. You sit upon the wooden bench overlooking the lake. The sunlight feels pleasantly warm against your face. The water sparkles softly. Somewhere behind you, the canvas tent moves gently in the breeze. The fabric makes the quietest rustling sound. It already feels like home. A robin lands nearby, tilting its tiny head as though saying hello. After a moment, it flutters back into the trees. The afternoon slowly begins to soften. The sunlight becomes warmer, turning golden as evening approaches. Long rays stretch through the forest. Every pine needle seems to glow. The lake reflects the changing sky, becoming brighter, then softer, with every passing minute. You know that soon the stars will appear, the lanterns will glow, the campfire will crackle warmly beneath the trees. A comforting meal will simmer gently over the flames. But for now, there is nothing to do except sit quietly, listening to the forest, breathing the fresh evening air, and allowing every part of yourself to become just a little more peaceful. Because tonight, the forest has become your home, and this cozy camping adventure is only just beginning. The golden afternoon slowly begins to melt into evening. The sun sinks a little lower behind the tall pine trees, painting the forest with soft shades of amber and honey. Long beams of light slip between the branches, touching the moss, the wildflowers, and the calm surface of the lake. Everything seems to glow. The forest has become quieter now. Many of the little birds have finished their songs for the day. Instead, they flutter gently from branch to branch, finding comfortable places to rest for the night. A gentle breeze moves through the pine needles above you. Their quiet whisper sounds almost like distant ocean waves. You stand slowly, stretching comfortably. The cool evening air feels refreshing against your skin. It is almost time to prepare the campfire. You walk toward the small circle of smooth stones waiting patiently near the tent. Earlier, you gathered dry cedar and pine wood. Each piece still carries the comforting scent of the forest. You kneel beside the fire pit, carefully arranging the smallest twigs first, then a few larger branches. Finally, several sturdy logs rest gently above them. Everything fits together naturally. Nothing feels rushed. You strike a single match. Its tiny flame glows warmly for only a moment, before touching the waiting kindling. Almost immediately, the smallest twigs begin to crackle. Tiny orange flames dance quietly between them. Slowly, patiently, the fire grows. Not large, not loud, only warm, only welcoming. The scent of cedar wood drifts softly into the cool evening air. The little flames flicker peacefully, casting gentle shadows across the moss. Soon, the campfire settles into a comfortable rhythm. bright orange embers glow beneath the dancing flames. Every few moments, a tiny spark floats upward, joining the evening sky before quietly disappearing. You place the old cast iron pot above the fire. It hangs from a simple metal stand, swaying ever so slightly. Into the pot goes a little butter. It melts slowly, releasing a rich, comforting aroma. Next, you add chopped onions. They begin to soften with the gentlest sizzling sound. Carrots follow, then celery, small potatoes, a handful of mushrooms gathered from the market earlier that morning. Everything cooks slowly together. Nothing hurried, nothing complicated. You sprinkle fresh thyme between your fingertips, a little rosemary, a bay leaf. Finally, warm vegetable broth fills the pot. Soon, gentle bubbles begin rising to the surface. The soup quietly simmers above the glowing fire. Its comforting aroma fills the little campsite. Warm vegetables, fresh herbs, butter, wood smoke. The scents blend together beautifully. Nearby, you slice thick pieces of fresh country bread. The crust crackles softly beneath the knife. You place each slice upon a small wire rack above the glowing embers. Slowly, they begin to toast. Their edges turn beautifully golden. A little butter melts across the warm bread. Tiny drops soak gently into every corner. The smell is almost impossible to resist. You smile. There is something deeply comforting about simple food cooked outdoors. Perhaps it is because everything takes a little longer. Every meal becomes an experience. Every step asks you to slow down. The soup continues to simmer peacefully. Occasionally, you stir it with a wooden spoon. Steam rises in graceful little swirls, disappearing into the cool forest air. Nearby, the lake reflects the changing colors of the sky. Blue slowly becomes lavender. Lavender becomes soft pink. Then gentle shades of deep evening gold. The first evening star quietly appears. Small, bright, patient, as though reminding the rest of the sky that night is almost here. You pour yourself a mug of hot chocolate. Rich cocoa melts into warm milk. A little cinnamon. A touch of vanilla. One spoonful of honey. You stir slowly, watching the tiny circles form across the surface. The mug feels wonderfully warm between your hands. You take a careful sip. Sweet, comforting, perfect for a cool forest evening. You carry your mug to the wooden bench beside the lake. The campfire glows quietly behind you. Its warmth reaches your back while the cool breeze brushes gently across your face. The balance feels perfect. Warmth, coolness, stillness. The forest seems to breathe with you. Slowly, almost unnoticed, A few soft clouds drift across the sky. They gather quietly above the trees. The air changes ever so slightly. The breeze becomes cooler. Then, the first tiny raindrop lands upon the lake. A second follows. Then another. Within moments, a gentle rain begins. Not a storm. Only the softest woodland shower. Tiny drops land upon the pine needles overhead. Tap, tap, tap. The sound is wonderfully peaceful. You move beneath the small canvas shelter stretched beside your tent. The campfire continues burning safely within its stone circle. The flames glow warmly despite the light rain. The soup continues simmering gently. Nothing feels interrupted. In fact, the campsite somehow feels even cozier. Rain taps softly upon the canvas roof. Each tiny drop creates its own quiet rhythm. Together, they become a peaceful lullaby. The scent of rain mixes beautifully with the fragrance of cedar smoke. Fresh earth, wet pine, warm soup, wood fire. It is one of those rare moments when every breath feels comforting. You wrap the knitted blanket around your shoulders. The wool feels wonderfully soft. The mug warms your hands. The rain continues its quiet song. The soup is finally ready. You carefully fill a wooden bowl. Steam rises into the cool evening air. You tear a piece of warm toasted bread, dipping it gently into the rich broth. The flavors are simple. Fresh vegetables, herbs, butter, warm bread. Nothing more is needed. Each bite feels comforting, like the forest itself has prepared the meal just for you. The rain continues for a little while longer, never becoming heavy, only steady, only peaceful. The lake welcomes every tiny raindrop. Thousands of little circles appear upon its surface, overlapping, then quietly fading away. The trees seem almost grateful for the gentle shower. Their branches glisten softly beneath the fading light. As the last spoonful of soup disappears, the rain begins to slow. Little by little, the tapping upon the canvas becomes quieter. Soon, only an occasional drop falls from the branches overhead. The clouds drift away as gently as they arrived. Fresh air fills the forest once again. Everything smells wonderfully clean. The fire crackles softly. The logs glow brighter now against the deepening twilight. The first stars begin appearing overhead. 1, then 3, then dozens. The lake becomes perfectly still once again, reflecting both the forest and the sky above. You lean back comfortably in your wooden chair, the blanket wrapped around your shoulders, the warmth of the fire dancing across your face. A cup of herbal tea now gently steaming beside you. There is nowhere else you would rather be. No sound except the quiet crackling fire, the gentle breeze, and the peaceful forest preparing itself for another beautiful night. The stars continue arriving, one after another, until the entire sky begins to sparkle. And you know that the most magical part of the evening is only just about to begin. The last few raindrops fall quietly from the pine branches, landing gently upon the soft forest floor. One by one, the clouds drift away, leaving the sky wonderfully clear once again. You step away from the shelter, taking a slow, deep breath. The air feels different now, cooler, fresher. Everything smells wonderfully alive. The rain has awakened every scent in the forest. The rich fragrance of damp earth rises gently around you. Pine needles release their comforting aroma. Moss carries the fresh scent of rainwater. Somewhere nearby, wild mint has become even more fragrant after the shower. Every breath feels calm, clean, and wonderfully refreshing. The campfire still glows patiently within its circle of smooth stones. The flames have become smaller now, gentler. Golden embers glow beneath the logs, casting a warm amber light across the campsite. The little lanterns hanging from the pine branches have begun to shine. Their soft golden glow blends beautifully with the flickering firelight. The campsite feels like a tiny island of warmth, surrounded by the quiet forest. You place another cedar log onto the fire. It settles gently among the glowing embers. A few tiny sparks drift upward, spiraling slowly toward the night sky. For just a moment, they look like little stars returning home. You smile softly. Then you wrap the knitted blanket a little closer around your shoulders. The evening has become pleasantly cool. Not cold, just enough to make the warmth of the fire feel especially comforting. You settle into the wooden chair beside the flames. A steaming mug of herbal tea rests comfortably between your hands. Chamomile, lavender, a little honey. The steam rises slowly into the cool air, disappearing like tiny clouds. The first sip is warm, gentle, comforting. The kind of warmth that seems to travel all the way to your heart. You lean back comfortably, looking upward. The forest canopy opens above the clearing, revealing a sky so full of stars that it almost doesn't seem real. Thousands, perhaps millions, of tiny lights shimmer quietly overhead. Some sparkle brightly, others glow softly in the distance. Together, they create a peaceful river of light stretching across the heavens. The Milky Way. It arches gently from one horizon to the other, like a glowing path woven from silver dust. There are no city lights here, no bright buildings, no busy roads, only darkness and stars. You find yourself noticing constellations you haven't seen in a long time. Some appear familiar, others seem entirely new. There is no need to name them. Simply watching them is enough. The sky asks nothing of you. It simply invites you to look, to breathe, and to wonder. The lake beside your campsite has become perfectly still, without even the smallest breeze. Its surface reflects every star above. Looking into the water feels almost like looking into another sky. Above you, stars. Below you, stars. For a quiet moment, it seems as though you are floating peacefully between two endless heavens. A tiny owl calls somewhere deep within the forest. Just once. A gentle, comforting sound. Soon afterward, everything returns to silence. Not empty silence, but the peaceful silence of nature resting for the night. The breeze moves softly through the tall pines. Their branches sway together with a slow whisper. The sound is deep, gentle, steady, almost like a lullaby. Nearby, small fireflies begin appearing among the ferns. One tiny light, then another. Soon dozens drift quietly between the trees. They rise, pause, glow softly, then disappear into the darkness before lighting again. Their peaceful dance feels almost magical. They move without hurry, each tiny light finding its own gentle rhythm. The forest has become a place of quiet wonders. Nothing dramatic, nothing surprising, only simple beauty unfolding slowly, one peaceful moment after another. You reach into your backpack and remove a small notebook. Its leather cover has grown wonderfully soft over many years. You open it, not because there is anything important to write, but simply to remember this evening. You write only a few gentle words. Warm fire, quiet lake, stars above. Everything feels peaceful. You close the notebook again. Some memories are already complete. They need nothing more. The fire crackles softly. The cedar log settles into glowing embers. Occasionally, a tiny spark rises into the cool night air. You watch them drift upward until they disappear among the stars. The lantern beside your chair glows with a warm amber light. Its flame moves ever so gently inside the glass. It casts soft golden patterns across the moss. The tent nearby looks wonderfully inviting now. Its canvas walls glow warmly from the lantern hanging just inside the entrance. From where you sit, it almost looks like a tiny woodland cottage. Safe, comfortable, peaceful. Before going inside, you decide to take one last slow walk beside the lake. The forest path feels wonderfully soft beneath your boots. The damp earth cushions every step. The moon has risen high now, round and bright. Its silver light spills across the calm water, creating a shimmering pathway that stretches almost to your feet. The lake remains perfectly still. Only now and then, A tiny fish rises gently to the surface, creating small circles that slowly spread outward before disappearing once more. The forest reflects perfectly in the water. Tall pines stand upside down beneath the moon. The stars seem close enough to touch. You stop at the end of a little wooden dock. Its weathered planks are smooth beneath your feet. The wood still carries the faint scent of rain. You lean gently against the railing, looking across the peaceful lake. There is something wonderfully comforting about still water at night. It never asks for attention. It simply rests, patiently, quietly, just as the forest rests, just as the stars rest overhead, just as your own thoughts have begun to rest. You notice how much slower your breathing has become, without trying, without effort. The forest has quietly taught your body to relax. The lake has slowed your thoughts. The stars have widened your imagination. The fire has warmed your heart. Everything feels exactly as it should. After a little while, you make your way slowly back toward the campsite. The lanterns welcome you home with their gentle glow. The campfire has settled into a bed of glowing orange embers. No longer dancing, simply glowing peacefully, radiating quiet warmth into the cool forest night. You place another log nearby for the morning, carefully tidy the cooking pot, and fold the blanket neatly over your chair. Small comforting rituals, simple things, the kind that make a place feel like home. The kettle still holds warm water. You pour one final cup of chamomile tea. The fragrant steam rises slowly. You hold the warm mug close, taking one last peaceful sip beneath the stars. The tea is soothing, gentle, perfect. As you finish, you glance once more toward the sky. The Milky Way continues stretching across the heavens. The fireflies continue their quiet dance among the trees. The moon continues watching over the peaceful forest. Everything continues, without hurry, without expectation, without end. The forest has become wonderfully sleepy now. And perhaps, so have you. Your eyes feel pleasantly heavy. Your body wonderfully relaxed. The warm canvas tent waits only a few steps away, filled with soft blankets, comfortable pillows, and the quiet promise of the most peaceful night's sleep. You smile gently. The perfect ending to a perfect evening is waiting just inside. And as you unzip the tent door, the forest quietly whispers good night. The canvas door closes softly behind you. The gentle sound is almost like the turning of a page, marking the beginning of the quietest chapter of the evening. Inside the tent, everything feels warm, comfortable, and wonderfully peaceful. The lantern hanging from a small wooden hook glows with a gentle amber light. It fills the little space with soft golden warmth. Its light dances quietly across the cream-colored canvas walls, creating slow, gentle shadows that move almost like sleepy clouds. The scent inside the tent is comforting. Fresh cotton, soft wool blankets, a hint of cedar from the nearby campfire, and the clean fragrance of pine drifting gently through the slightly open window flap. You remove your boots and place them neatly beside the entrance. Your thick wool socks feel warm against the soft sleeping mat. Every small movement becomes slower now. There is no reason to hurry. The night has all the time in the world. Outside, the campfire continues to glow. The bright flames have settled into a bed of glowing orange embers. Every now and then, a small piece of cedar softly crackles, sending a tiny spark drifting upward before quietly disappearing into the darkness. The sound reaches the tent only as a gentle whisper. Warm, comforting, familiar. You unzip your sleeping bag. Its thick lining feels wonderfully soft beneath your fingertips. You climb inside slowly, pulling it gently around your shoulders. It is warm almost immediately, like being wrapped in a comforting hug. The oversized pillow welcomes your head. The knitted blanket rests lightly across the top of the sleeping bag, adding another layer of cozy warmth. You settle a little deeper, finding the perfect position. Your body feels wonderfully heavy now, the kind of heaviness that comes after a peaceful day outdoors. A comfortable heaviness, a restful heaviness. Outside, the breeze moves gently through the tall pine trees. Their branches sway together with the softest whisper. It sounds almost like distant waves upon a quiet beach. Slow, steady, peaceful. You close your eyes for a moment, listening. The wind, the quiet embers, the occasional call of a sleepy owl far away, the tiny chorus of crickets hidden among the grasses. None of the sounds disturb the silence. Instead, they become part of it. A peaceful orchestra, playing only for the forest. You take one slow breath in. The cool forest air feels wonderfully fresh. And breathe out, letting every remaining thought drift away. Again, a gentle breath in, and a slow, comfortable breath out. Feel your shoulders becoming heavier, your arms resting completely, your hands soft, your legs relaxed. Even the tiny muscles around your eyes become still. There is nothing left to do tonight. The soup has been enjoyed. The fire has warmed your hands. The stars have filled the sky. The lake has reflected the moon. Everything that needed to happen has already happened. Now, only rest remains. Outside, the moon shines through the tops of the pine trees. Silver light filters gently onto the forest floor. Tiny patches of moonlight rest quietly among the ferns, like little pools of soft white silk. The lake reflects the moon so perfectly that it seems to glow from within. The entire forest has become wrapped in peaceful silver light. You imagine stepping outside one last time. Not because you need to, only because it feels pleasant to picture it. The cool night air brushes gently across your face. The stars stretch endlessly overhead. The campfire glows quietly beside the tent. The wooden chair still waits beside the fire pit. The kettle rests peacefully on the picnic table. Everything exactly where you left it. Everything safe. Everything peaceful. You smile softly, then quietly return inside the warm tent once more. The lantern continues glowing beside you, its little flame becoming softer now, sleepier somehow, almost ready for bed itself. Outside, a few gentle raindrops begin to fall once more. Not many, just enough to create a quiet melody upon the canvas roof. Tap, tap, tap. Each drop arrives gently, without hurry. The rain never grows heavy. It simply settles into a peaceful rhythm. The forest welcomes it. The trees drink quietly. The earth breathes deeply. The lake catches each tiny drop, turning them into countless little circles before becoming perfectly still once again. The scent of rain drifts softly through the tent. Fresh pine, cool earth, cedar smoke, clean air. It is one of those rare fragrances that instantly makes every part of you feel calm. You breathe slowly, matching your breath to the gentle rain. Breathing in as the raindrops arrive. Breathing out as they quietly fade away. Your thoughts become lighter now, like leaves floating gently across the lake. There is no need to follow them, no need to hold them. Simply allow them to drift, one by one, farther away, until only quiet remains. The lantern beside you glows a little dimmer. The embers outside continue their gentle warmth. The rain continues its peaceful song. The forest continues breathing all around you. And somewhere above the clouds, the moon continues watching over everything with quiet kindness. Take another slow breath in. Feel the comfort surrounding you. The soft pillow beneath your head. The warmth of the sleeping bag. The gentle weight of the blanket. The cool fresh air. The peaceful forest. Now, breathe out. Let yourself sink just a little deeper. Again, a slow breath in, and an even slower breath out. Very good. There is nowhere else you need to be. No plans for tomorrow. No unfinished tasks. Only this peaceful campsite. This quiet forest. This warm tent. This gentle rain. And the comforting knowledge that everything is exactly as it should be. If you've enjoyed spending this peaceful evening beneath the pine trees with me, I hope you'll return again soon. Here at Moonlit Sleep Stories. There is always another cozy place waiting for you. Perhaps a quiet lighthouse beside the sea. A warm mountain cabin after fresh snowfall. A peaceful train crossing snowy valleys. A tiny cottage hidden in a flower meadow. Or another gentle camping adventure beneath a sky full of stars. Whenever you need a little peace, a little comfort, or simply a quiet place to rest, I'll be here, waiting to welcome you on another peaceful journey. But for tonight, there is nothing more to do, nothing more to think about. Only the comforting rhythm of the forest, the gentle rain upon the canvas, the soft whisper of pine trees, the fading warmth of the campfire, the stars hidden just beyond the clouds. Allow every sound to become softer now, more distant, more peaceful. The rain becomes quieter, until it feels like the gentlest lullaby. The breeze slows, moving lazily through the branches. The crickets sing more softly. Even the glowing embers begin to fade into quiet warmth. Your breathing becomes slower, deeper, effortless. Your body feels wonderfully heavy. Your mind perfectly calm. The forest keeps watch through the night. The trees stand quietly around your little campsite. The lake rests beneath the moon. The stars continue shining above the clouds. Everything is peaceful. Everything is safe. Everything is still. So let yourself drift now, like a feather carried gently on the evening breeze. Farther, softer, deeper, into peaceful sleep. May your dreams be as calm as the quiet forest, as warm as the glowing campfire, as gentle as the rain upon the canvas roof, and as endless as the stars above the pine trees. Good night, dear friend. Sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, and whenever you wish, I'll meet you again, around another warm campfire, beneath another beautiful night sky. Sweet dreams.